Brevis, 125 from 56 balls, 12 fours, 8 sixes. It was just the purest hitting. I think he's had to carry the baby AB tag, AB de Villiers. He's the original Duval last night, and it makes me think how he's wasting his talents in commentary. He should be an international talent spotter for the IPL. Go and make himself a fortune. Bharat Sundaresan will have watched all of this. Hello to you, Bharat.
Hello, Jared. And speaking of making a fortune, Brevis at 22 has already made a fortune playing in T20 leagues before he even did what he did last night, Jared. I think he's already worth $3 million. Not bad for a 22-year-old. And it was so good to see him do that for South Africa, because I remember the first time we heard of him was when Mumbai Indians scouted him and brought him in a few years ago as 18, 19-year-old, I think. And that's when the whole baby AB thing started. And for a while, you feared that he could be one of those first talents, young talents who whose career is dictated by what the franchise wants, because there was this period where South Africa wanted him playing some domestic cricket, but he was instead in England playing for a Mumbai Indians touring team. But then, since then, he's committed fully to South Africa. He went unsold in the IPL auction last year. Then Chennai got him for a very cheap sum towards the end. And what a pick that could turn out to be, because as we saw last night, there's something really special about him. And just one more thing on him, Jared, just listening to him speak to Brendan Julian, when Brendan Julian asked him, "Oh, you just were so still and you were hitting the ball." And he said, "Yeah, that's my brand." Imagine someone like Ponting or Greg Chappell when they made their debut saying, "Yeah, that's my brand." How much sport has changed.
It has. And the point you make, he'd played 102 T20s, so at franchise level, that's what was it, his ninth at international level, and he makes the ton there. So the hitting was just so pure, wasn't it?
Oh, and because most of the sixes came straight down the ground as well. The no-look six that was called so well there by John Donahoe. If you're seeing that shot being played by a lot of these young players, it's just another sign of their brashness, isn't it? And he looked a bit too keen, too desperate in that first game and got out. But that was in a run chase. Yesterday, once he got a couple of mishits over the ropes, you could see that the range hitting began. And throughout that innings, he kept trying to hit it straight. And I think that's what really stood out against spin and pace.
So that's game 2. The decider is played on, is it Friday or Saturday night? Saturday night. Yeah. The crowd, I love watching a little bit of cricket at this time of year. Usually it's in England, so it's great that it's on our shores. The climate absolutely plays for it up north, and it really works because the crowds were there. It's been splendid.
Oh, full house is more than 8,200 people, I think, for both games. And just how involved they were. I mean, obviously, there was the guy who took the catch with his left hand while holding 2 tinnies in the other hand. Tinnies, how Australian do I sound? It kind of, stole the show. But, there was another catch taken yesterday, not as quite as dramatic. But they were just so involved. And I used to see that in India, Jared, whenever you took cricket out of the main centers and took it into the smaller centers. But I think that's the beauty, and I think what we've heard that Gav Dovey has done with Cricket NT and all the developments there, great sign, and possibly more reason why we might end up getting Test cricket there around this time next year when Bangladesh comes.
Alex is making the case, but at top end tour should be a part of every cricket calendar. I need a bit of cricket this time of year. Imagine being an Essendon fan. We all need a bit of relief. Let's have a Test series next year.
No Essendon age anymore.
No, very good.
It's good. You feel a little naughty, don't you, watching some cricket in Australia while the football season is at its business end. But I think it was really good. We saw some games in that part of the world 2 years ago, or was it 3 years ago, when New Zealand and Zimbabwe came. But this just feels really good. And hopefully it becomes a feature. I've always felt with the AFL and other codes, the way they encroach into cricket space, it's only fair that cricket gets to do that as well.
Tim David's hitting is the other part of what's been happening over the past 3 weeks, hasn't it? 102 against the West Indies and then 30, 83 in game 1 and 50 last night. Is his his development as an international cricketer is happening right now.
And he's gone from being the 10-ball merchant, which is how he's used often in the IPL, where they say, okay, we'll give you 10 balls. The chances are you're going to hit 6 or 7 of them for 6. That's all we need from you. To just the fact that he faced, 52 balls the other day in the first T20I, a similar number of balls when he made the 100 in the Caribbean, and batting higher up the order as well. Showing range. And Australia were in all sorts in that first T20I. They went hard. They're using that West Indian model from 6-7 years ago, where if the team which hits more sixes wins, so it doesn't matter about the dot ball percentage doesn't seem to matter when you use that approach. But just the maturity he showed, he kept out Muthuswamy, who seemed to be the big threat in the middle overs. And I thought that's just a sign of his development. But again, it stood out for me that when he was asked about whether he wants to think about 50-over cricket, and he said, nah, I have CPL commitments. And, why wouldn't you? I mean, he can. We spoke about Devil Brevis earning $3 million before he turns 22. I mean, Tim David has the world of T20 cricket is his oyster, has been for a while. But yeah, it's scary what he can do with the bat, and if he could do it for the next 10-15 years, Jared, he could be the first ever cricketing billionaire. Who knows at the rate he's going.
He'll be a central part of Australia's T20 World Cup, won't he? March next year.
Oh, and Australia are shaping up really well. Like I said, the approach that Mitch Marsh and Andrew McDonald seem to have brought to the way they want to play this format. And Mitch Marsh, funnily enough, seems to be the only one who's just not in the best of nicks. But whether it's Cam Green, Tim David, Mitch Owens missed out in this series so far. But they're just shaping up so well. I mean, Josh Inglis missed out because he was sick last night, but he'll come back. So we more or less know what squad they're going to take, or the makeup of the batting lineup. Our old friend Jake Fraser-McGurk seems to have fallen out of favor. And I think it's a good thing for him. So they are in the top 3, if not the top 2, going into that World Cup, which is just 6 months away, and we're going to start focusing on the Ashes very soon. We'll forget about the T20 World Cup, but it'll be upon us very soon. And Australia have 5 more T20Is to go against India in October. But by then, I think we'll see exactly what the batting lineup looks like. It's just a question of Cummins and Stark will come back into the squad, and then who misses out from the fast bowlers.
100 days to the Ashes, Bharat. So that's a landmark moment, and there's a flurry of stories which I'll read later in the day. I imagine that means there's 100 different iterations of the team to be put forward in the days leading up there as we debate selection and the like. And what's your sense of what's building for maybe the biggest summer that we've seen here?
I mean, the fact that the mildest-mannered man I know, probably in the history of the world, Crash Craddock, went on the front foot and started playing a lot of shots against England last week. And I couldn't help myself, but I called him and I told him how much I loved it. He just took down. He's already indirectly suggesting that this is the worst England team to come here, which is the beauty of an Ashes summer. You're right, Jared. I mean, I've called it the WrestleMania main event for a while, purely because of how England have gone about their cricket since they were embarrassed and humiliated 4 years ago. This is their best chance. I mean, this has to be their end your or finish your story moment, because if this doesn't work out, our heads will roll. Who knows what England will do as a test team from this point onward. But already there's so many storylines brewing. Alex Carey is talking about how he prefers or how he's looking forward to dealing with the Barmy Army, though on Australian shows. And 150,000 people coming, I heard 40,000 people just coming to Adelaide for the Ashes from England. It's crazy, and I'm so excited. I mean, the last Ashes was here, we had COVID, and the England team just didn't look good before they even landed. But this time around, I don't think many of us are rating them the way we should be probably at the moment. But it'll be a lot of fun, and there'll be so many more storylines. But starting with who will open the batting for Australia?
Well, are you keeping a whiteboard with your team on it, Bharat?
I am, Jared. Jake Weatherald is right now up there. And what a beautiful story it was. Ben Horn interviewed him the other day, and just a story of redemption. Really, and he's a very interesting character, Jake Weatherall. I got to know him well when he used to play here in South Australia. And every time you saw him bat, Jared, when on a good day, he looked like he should be playing Test cricket. But the problem was those good days were so intermittent that you never thought of him as a serious Test prospect. Something's happened to him since he's gone to Tasmania. Obviously, he's spoken about the role his wife has played. And at 30, the way he bats and the freedom with which he bats, I'm not saying he's David Warner or he's Ben Duckett, but he could be the perfect foil for Usman Khawaja, considering you'd think Usman Khawaja will start the Ashes. We still don't know whether he'll finish the Ashes or not. So right now, he's right there on top, Jake Weatherall. Maybe I'm slightly biased, sound biased maybe. But I think, obviously I'm going to pick Manas in my team, Jared. Manas comes back at 3 and Cam Green pushes back to 6, but we'll wait. And it's also interesting to hear Kerry O'Keefe on commentary the other day. He spoke about Jason Sangha at 3. I don't think that's the worst, or that's a very left field suggestion. I think Jason Sangha, just the way he's been batting for South Australia since he made the move here, like I keep saying, good things happen to good people who move to Adelaide. So he's not as far as some people might think.
All right, so you've got Weatherall, Khawaja, Marnus, Smith, Head, Green, Carey. Then I presume you've got Stark, Cummins, Lyon, and who have you got, Hazelwood or Boland in your first 11?
In Perth, I think it's going to be Hazelwood, Jared. But as we get to Melbourne, for all obvious reasons, Boland will play. Something will happen and Boland will play, or Boland will play regardless. But I think they'll start with Hazelwood in Perth. He's got a great record there, and he bowled so well last year despite Australia losing there.
We all should have a whiteboard by the side of our bed, wake up in the middle of the night and go, no, I'm going to make a change at the top. I'm going to move someone in the middle order just to tick off the last 100 days.
I know. And, it's not just obviously all our focuses will be on the Ashes, but I'm very excited about the A Tour coming up as well. When you look at that, some of the members of that A team that have been picked to go to India, because we're 18 months away from going to India for that big Border Gavaskar Trophy, Jared. And this time, like I keep saying, I'm going to drag you for at least 3 Test matches, not just one is not good enough. Most of these players could be there, or a lot of these players could be there. It's good to see Sam Constance get some exposure before the Shield season. Will be so much pressure on him there. But even the likes of Campbell Kellaway, Ollie Peake is in that side. Corey Rocchicelli is there. So I think I'll be keeping an eye on that as well, Jared, because that is clearly in preparation for that big India tour, which is, you say 18 months, but in cricketing calendar, the way it works, he'll be here before we know it.
Yes, yep. And currency is red ball runs wherever they're made around the world. The one big ticket item, Bharat, is I spoke to Todd Greenberg last week. He'd come back from the ICC conference and the active conversation around what a 2-tier test setup might look like. We've both been reading a piece out of the West Indies. Obviously, you were just there, and the fretfulness around what the future of Test cricket looks like. And Clive Lloyd says if the West Indies end up in the second tier, they'll never get out. They'll be there for a century.
Yeah, and I think there's a huge distinction between 2 tiers and 2 divisions, isn't there, Jared? And I think Todd Greenberg has been very strong about wanting 2 divisions where there is the possibility of promotion and relegation, so that if you find yourselves in the second tier, there's some hope, because the way cricket economics works, they're so dependent, the West Indies or any of those countries, on India touring mainly, but even an English team, or like we saw this time, an Australian team touring. Because if these 3 teams are not coming to your neck of the woods, I think your Test future is in doldrums. And we saw that even despite Australia going there, the crowds weren't up to scratch. So if there is a possibility of 2 divisions, then it could work. Then there's some incentive, because just look at that the New Zealand Zimbabwe series, and we all want Zimbabwe to do well. It feels lovely to see Zimbabwe, and all of us feel nostalgic when we see them play Test cricket. But it can't continue the way it is, Jared. Like the 367 from Mulder, or Zimbabwe being knocked over by an innings and 400 runs almost the other day. So something has to give, and I think the broadcasters will have the biggest say, like they do on all things sport these days around the world. But I'm very intrigued by it because I think we've come to a point where something will happen. The big three will play more and more against each other for sure. And even if there is a relegation promotion thing, I think the ECB head said he's worried about England somehow being relegated and not getting to play against India and Australia. I don't see that being an issue because these marquee series will stand. I can't see there being no Ashes or there being no Border Gavaskar Trophy, regardless of whether that counts for WTC points or not. So I think two divisions will be the way to go. But if it is two-tier, then I think Clive Lloyd and all those other legends who sat around the table to discuss the future of West Indies cricket are right. I mean, it'll be dead for sure.